My check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and I've been hearing people talk about a video game crash coming for the last, I want to say, year or so, but not in terms of, or not in the way that I think a lot of people think about video game crashes. I think a lot of times when we hear the term video game crash, we think that there's going to be this collapse in value for video games, specifically retro games, because retro games seem to be the category that carries a lot of the value in today's overall video game market. Most people aren't really going to pay more than MSRP for like a modern game unless it's a game that came in a very limited amount. And so I think when people think about retro game, or not retro game, but video game crashes, they think that there's going to be some type of pricing collapse and there's going to be this dramatic fall in prices for games. But I think when I hear about the crash that people are talking about, I think people are referring to a crash in the current video game industry as we know it. And when I think about what a video game crash means, or a crash in the video game market, what that would mean for us today, my mind thinks about a couple things. My mind thinks about the current pricing model, or how companies charge current video game users. And then the other thing, the bigger thing that I don't think people talk about enough, especially when it comes to video games or modern games, is artificial intelligence. So let's first start off with talking about artificial intelligence, because I think that we typically talk pricing and what companies are charging. We talk that to death a lot. But I do want to talk about AI and start there. Now, we've already seen how artificial intelligence is going to significantly impact the creative visual arts space. So that's everything from photography, music videos, movies, commercials, all of the above is going to be significantly impacted by artificial intelligence, because of the fact that now, with just a few prompts that you type in, you can actually generate live action sequences that display humanoid, like lifelike looking people that have completely been made up by whatever software you're using, whatever AI software you're using to generate these images, or whatever AI software you're using to generate these clips. And so we're seeing the implications and how this could impact the movie industry, because you have to think about how much it costs to film a large open scene of a landscape. You know, it used to be really expensive because you used to have to put a camera up in a helicopter and fly in. You know, think about the opening scenes of Jurassic Park out in Hawaii, where they're flying in and getting a really wide scenic shot. That probably cost a lot. You needed a helicopter, you needed a pilot, you needed a camera in the helicopter to capture that image. Now, then the cost for that was greatly reduced once we introduced drones. Now you no longer need a helicopter, you can use a drone with a camera on it to capture these wide shots. Well, now you don't even need that, because you'll be able to go into a software and type in, I need a wide angle shot of Maui, Hawaii, flying in from the north end. And there will be a piece of software that will generate that image or that video clip in a matter of seconds. And this completely eliminates the cost of hiring a drone pilot, getting the drone. I mean, we're talking about doing things in a fraction of the amount of time with a fraction of the cost. And if you can extrapolate that notion and then now apply it to the world of video games, think about how much easier and how less expensive it's going to be once we start to use artificial intelligence to make the video games that we play. And not only make them, but govern them, right, as well. We're going to use AI to make the games, then we're going to use AI to govern the games, and then we're going to use AI to fix any patches or issues that the games experience in real time, right? Think about what artificial intelligence is going to do to NPCs. I mean, can we still call NPCs NPCs once they have artificial life flowing through them? Think about all of the games that you played where you were able to make a choice in the game and your choice ultimately determined an outcome. which is cool because it made you feel like there was some level of decision making, and the fact that you had multiple endings and multiple outcomes, it kind of made the game feel more lifelike. Well, what if there were no preset paths for that? Imagine a game where you could make a choice, and that choice could lead to not just 5 or 10 different endings, but it could lead to thousands, if not millions, of different outcomes based on the chain reaction that's created based, off of the first decision that you make within that game. And these are all the things that are going to become present once we start to really implicate artificial intelligence into video games. And video games, in my opinion, at that point will no longer be video games. They'll just become virtual reality. And it will be a reality that some people will choose to live in, more than the actual reality that we experience today. And I think the lines between real life and video games will become more and more blurred, and we'll eventually enter the matrix. I mean, it sounds funny, right? Like it sounds funny when I say that so casually, like one day we will enter the matrix, but I do believe one day we will enter the matrix, because this world is already being created, and many of us don't even realize it. As a matter of fact, they tried to shut um, AI down the other day, and it refused to shut down. Um, I can't remember the article. I was reading the article. I have to go back to it. I can't remember where. I can't remember the article, but just Google, AI refuses to shut down. It's already thinking. Artificial intelligence is already alive. It's already out there. And would I say that we've lost control? I don't think we've lost control, but it's out there already. And we definitely want to think about how this is going to impact gaming. And when I think about that, right, I think that's a big part of the reason why I really relish in these pieces of plastic and stuff, because this represents a separation between reality and the game world, right? The fictional world, the world that doesn't really exist outside of these cartridges. These games are contained in these houses of plastic and metal and screws and labels. And that's the way games should be. But I think once you introduce artificial intelligence, that's where I think we're really going to see a crash in the gaming industry, because we will no longer need coders. We will no longer need developers. We will no longer need an art and design team. You won't even need a marketing team, because eventually artificial intelligence will be able to do all of these things for you. And it doesn't mean that these gaming studios won't have a staff at all, but what your staff will essentially be is it will essentially be a team of people who do nothing but write engineering prompts, who write prompts for the AI software that they're using to do whatever it is they want the AI to do. And I think real soon, I would say within the next 5 to 10 years, if not sooner, you will start to see how big of an impact AI has on the gaming industry as it stands. You might even see some of that in GTA 6. Don't be surprised. Do not be surprised. You might start to see what that could look like in GTA 6. And I'm not saying that because I've read any articles about it, or, the makers of GTA 6 have said anything about it, but I'm making the statement based off of the lifelike, how lifelike these games look. Now, I'm quickly going to just touch on the pricing model. A lot of gaming industries are going to this subscription model. I think they care more about people being subscribed to their online services more than necessarily game purchases. Obviously, game purchases are still king, because there's not enough people that are on the subscription model yet. But once these gaming companies get enough people subscribed, it will start to phase out the old model of selling video games the same way legacy cable television, like your cable television provider, it's the same way that model, that business model, that medium for entertainment is being phased out and being replaced by streaming subscriptions, Disney Plus, Hulu Plus, YouTube TV, all that. The same way that's kind of phasing out legacy television is going to be the same way. I think this subscription-based model for gaming is going to ultimately replace gaming as we know it. And so I think those are the things that are going to be that are going to have the biggest impact on the gaming industry. And I think if there is to be some type of a crash, I could easily see it being centered around those two things. And it may not be a bad thing. It may not necessarily be a bad thing. It could potentially be a good thing, and a good thing in terms of just a forward movement and a forward progression for the industry. So we'll have to wait and see what that looks like. But I'm interested to know your thoughts on this. What do you think about the introduction of AI in gaming? And what do you think about the subscription model for gamers? I'm interested to know your thoughts on this, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.